I'm a consenting adult. Are you consenting, Mama?
Were
Yeah.
you this last week,
Yes.
Lara?
Monique and I had these fake smiles on, and it wasn't even going.
Were
Oh my
you a
gosh.
consenting adult last week?
Yeah.
Look, guys, I made us into cartoons too.
Oh, I want a copy of that. That's so good.
Oh, I look so happy too.
You do look happy. You're like, I'm finally at the Cranky Network Awards.
That's funny.
He's going to take you off the list. Brett Snyder's going to take you off the list
What?
if you didn't go this year.
But I did. I did go.
Mhm.
And I had a great time.
Good. Me too.
Ready?
Ready?
Ready.
All standby passengers, see me at the podium for your seat assignment.
Non-Rev Lounge is a travel and aviation podcast. Monique, Lara, and Tyler are three friends that work for a major airline as gate agent, flight attendant, and ramp worker. During this podcast, they will discuss using their flight benefits to travel the world, as well as talk about things that happen at work. They have guests on almost every week to share their travels and stories, leaving tips on the best places to travel or things to do. Enjoy.
Welcome to the Non-Rev Lounge. I'm Tyler.
I'm Lara.
And I'm Monique.
And we're back.
Momo.
Sorry, I was touching up our pictures a little more. I want me to be a little more blonde in that, so it's sorry,
There you
I'm
go.
focused. My ADD
Thanks,
is strong, yeah.
So, how have you guys been?
I've been great.
Because you've been on vacation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lara's lucky.
I
And Monique
was.
had a vacation too.
Oh, I didn't do anything though, right?
Oh,
Did I?
A staycation?
I know I have such a bad memory, but yeah.
But you have a pool, so you can turn that into...
No, I went and saw Chelsea, didn't I?
Yeah, you
You
did.
went up to Utah for a couple of days.
Yeah, no, I think I did something. Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, because our parents were gone. So I was like, why are you going up? But you went up there to see them.
Yeah, did I tell you guys about it?
You didn't tell
I
me
don't
about
think
it, but
so.
I knew you were up there visiting Chelsea.
So it's pretty cute. So our sister has two kids, a boy and a girl, and the girl, Allie, was letting me stay in her room. And when I walked in, she had it all decked out for me. Like she'd cleaned it so good. She had a little note, handwritten note on the bed explaining how to use her lights and let me know there were treats on the side of the bed for me. And she was so
Aw.
excited for me to come. Yeah, and it was cute. So she had a tiny little mini fridge all stocked up and then a snack basket right there as well. So, I mean, it's pretty much globalist status is what I had.
I think so.
Maybe better.
I think so.
That's great. I'm glad you did that.
Yeah, it was fun.
I took the kids to Tampa. I think I mentioned that a couple weeks ago.
All three.
All three of them, yeah, by myself. My wife Katie had to stay home and work. And so we just loaded them up, flew there. Had to get them out of school like an hour and a half early to make the flight. Went to the beach. It was like upper 70s. So it wasn't like real warm. I don't know if that's normal for that time of year, but we had bought a new one of those beach tents where it's like open. It was smaller than the last one we had, but we borrowed Monique's beach chairs and checked those and beach tent and just spent the day at the beach. And even now it's been a couple of weeks and my 4-year-old just keeps talking about Honeymoon Island because we went to it's one of the state park you had to pay to get in called Honeymoon Island. But they had a blast. The water was kind of chilly. It was kind of like Hawaii water. You know, Hawaii was kind of, at first you kind of, whoa, then you get in, you're like, okay. But it wasn't like when we would go in the summer. And
It's
I'm trying to find a
humid.
time this fall when we can go back and spend another week. I think the fall is actually warmer. Remember when we went for your birthday, Monique? It was like October, but I
Yeah,
feel like the water was, it was perfect for me. Like,
it was a little chilly, but it wasn't bad. But I'm a baby when it comes to water. So yeah.
yeah. So maybe like you could find a time in September.
Yeah.
So, but that's fun. And then you just did a beach trip, Lara.
Yes, I did. And the water was beautiful. It was
I
perfect.
bet.
And unlike you, Momo, I like to have warm water. It was nice.
So you went to your beach we talked about before, your resort in Cancun,
Yes, it was fun.
your clothing optional one.
It is a
Can we say
clothing
that
optional
still?
resort. I wear a bikini,
And how many bags did you take?
2 huge bags, and 2 rollerboards.
For just you, or that's
crazy.
for you and Dave?
Well, because they have, we have to, okay, so you're gone 7 days. So you have 7 nights of dinner wear and then 7 nights of theme nights because every night's a party. They have a different theme and you have to dress for that. You don't have to, but you're like really a loser if you don't do it. And then of course, during the day, you've got your swimsuits, your cover-ups, and then, other clothing you have to wear for lunch or breakfast, little rompers and stuff like that.
I think if I went to a clothing optional resort like that, I could get everything for a week into a backpack.
I
And
could
I'm
bet
like 6
you would.
times the size of you.
Well, not everyone is. It's clothing optional, but not everyone is partake. I'd say maybe 80% partake, and then 20. And they don't shame you, which is really nice when you don't do it.
So which one of your costumes got the most comments or looks that you wore?
Probably my flight attendant one. Probably that was the first night. And I found
That
out
was the one.
later, the first night was what's your emergency? That was the theme. What's your emergency? So there were a lot of because it's couples only resort. So there were a lot of doctors and nurses, and all the guys, of course, were doctors, and perpetuating that stereotype. And they wore their little nurse hats. It was just really cute. It was fun. And then Dave was a priest, a Catholic priest, because I grew up Catholic. So whenever anything happened, my Nana would call the priest, and the priest would come over. Whenever there was any kind of mini emergency, the priest would have to come. And then I was a flight attendant, and I passed out some snacks and some wings. And then later on, we met a couple, and she said, wait. She said, well, she goes, I didn't see you guys the other night. She goes, and we started talking and stuff. She goes, wait, are you the one that was passing out the wings? She goes, because she's a flight attendant for Frontier. So she goes, I ran right back to my room and I got Frontier wings. I started passing those out. She was really cute.
So was there anything different this time?
No. And we ran into some people that we had met on previous visits. So that was kind of fun. This one girl has a swimsuit. You will like this. This is a good story. She has a swimsuit made out of, those candy necklaces with the string that goes whoop, whoop, whoop. The little round candies that go around all different colors around your neck. Remember when you were a kid and you used to hold them up during class and eat them during class?
Or slingshot them? You'd bite part of it and then slingshot them?
Mm-hmm. She had a bikini made out of that.
I'll just let that sit.
That's it. What? It was so funny. She goes, it gets kind of sticky. I go, yeah.
And it doesn't sound very comfortable. I would just never sit down either because,
And Saturday
all the
night
seats that she would sit on, that would have a bunch of ants afterwards,
you would think
the track of where she sat.
And I did see that. She ended up wearing the bikini top up in the disco that night. She was wearing just the top and some shorts. She looked super cute.
So I noticed you were taking pictures, and I thought that was a no-no. There was no pictures allowed.
It is a no-no. And you know what? Everyone is really good about phones. And, you're talking about a couple hundred people, and nobody had their phones out. Like during the shows and stuff, they have professional dancers come out, and they do, they call it seduction show and stuff like that. It was fun. They're dressed, but no one's filming. No one was videotaping. It was really nice. But no, we took a couple outside. So my kids wanted to see our outfits. So my daughter wanted, my son could care less. My daughter wanted to see the outfits. And then on Saturday night was white night, and I had a really pretty tight white dress. It was a halter top. And Dave had one of those white gauzy shirts you see all the time in Miami. And but during the day, all the girls were wearing white swimsuits. So I wore my white bikini that day. So it was kind of fun. Everybody's wearing white all day. It's fun.
That is fun.
It's fun. Yeah. And if you don't partake, it's because the first time we went there, we're like, I'm not doing that. That's stupid. And we were really left out. So it was fun. And then they had animal print night. Dave had a cute animal print shirt. I had an animal print dress that was backless with bell sleeves. Fun. And we ate hibachi
did you have
dinner.
all this stuff, or did you have to go shopping and buy all this stuff to take?
Well, we already had of course, I had an old airline outfit that I wore for What's Your Emergency. But we already had the priest costume.
Naturally, yeah. You'd have one of those.
Yeah. I did have to buy a white dress, and I had to buy the white shirt for Dave. And then I had to buy an animal print shirt for him. And then the animal print dress I got from Amazon for $12. It was crazy. But it was super fun. And they have pool games during the day. It was fun. I got one of the girls came up to me and she said, can you please play in our pool game? And I said, okay. And she goes, you only have to sit there. You just have to sit there. You don't have to do anything. I said, okay. So I sat in one chair and this other girl sat in the other chair. And it's like a cruise ship, where you have the, director of fun. So they have a whole group of young kids that do it. And so then the two guys came out. And so I got a lap dance for free.
Oh, nice.
So you said that.
And he picked me up.
You said you had to bring your own baby oil. Did they not provide it? And how many gallons did you bring?
I brought Hawaiian Tropic.
Oh.
It was fun.
So I've seen a reel that talks about couples that go to all inclusives, and they're like, there's always two types. There's one that sounds like what you did, Lara, that's in all the activities and is in like the big group of everyone in the pool. And then there's another one sitting in their chair, like either reading or just being like, don't bug me. Do you guys eat? Because I would be the one reading or on the side, and Tawny's in the pool for sure. Are both you and Dave in the pool, or is it?
Oh, yeah.
See it? Okay.
We're in the pool. Like about the 4th or 5th day we were there, this one guy who's always playing water volleyball came up and said, "You guys look like you guys really mesh. You guys are a really good couple. You kind of mesh." And I'm like, "Yeah, thanks." I don't know what that meant. But then we had a burlesque night, which was really fun. Dave wore, so on Amazon, I ordered him this vest that came with a timepiece, a watch with the chain and a little bow tie. Kind of looked a little bit like Christopher at your wedding.
Oh,
Remember that little pink bow tie Christopher wore at your wedding? And then a hat, a bowler hat. And so we went downstairs so after dinner, you go and change because you wear dinner wear. And then afterwards, you go and change into your theme outfit. And so he put that on. He had a nice white shirt on underneath. And we went out to the lobby area, which is where the party area is. And my gosh, almost every single guy had that same outfit. So they all had ordered it on Amazon. But a lot of them were wearing it without a shirt underneath, kind of like in Miami, where they don't really wear a shirt underneath the vest, the flight attendants. But Dave was wearing a shirt. But later on that night, we were, after dancing, after the show and all that, and we were dancing, we jumped in the jacuzzi, and he wore in the jacuzzi.
Cute.
Yeah, this couple swam over to us, and the girl goes, "Oh my God, you were wearing that hat. It is so funny." So we started talking to them. She's a flight attendant for Frontier. And the guy she's with is a pilot for an unnamed major carrier.
Oh.
Yeah. So
So it looked like Pinky Blinders was hanging out at your resort that day with all the guys dressed like that.
yes, it was so fun. It was really fun. We were all laughing.
And do they do drinks based on the day? Like, do they have different cocktails for each day?
They do.
Oh, that's fun.
They do. It is kind of fun. They have little fun cocktails, and the bartenders are always happy, and it's kind of fun. And the jacuzzi is that's where I think everyone's naked, I think, is in the jacuzzi. But it's at night. It's late
Did they
at night.
ever change the water in there?
I hope they do. But the
So I
jacuzzi
noticed in one of your pictures with Dave that everyone was wearing you and Dave were both wearing orange wristbands. Like this is a
Correct.
little thing. And so I made some guesses of what that stood for. I want to see if
There's
Monique has some
white.
different ones.
There's
Okay, what are the
white
colors?
arm things, and there's brown, and then there's orange, and then there's red. And they sell timeshares at this resort. Dave and I have not bought one. We've been there 9 times. We've never bought one. But orange is because we're in their loyalty program, which is free. So when we first got to our room, there was a big flag across our door that says the loyalty program is called Stay and Play. And said, "Welcome, Stay and Play member." And then when we went inside, there were hats. They had hats for us that said Stay and Play. And then we had orange. And I'm like, and every time you book with them, that you get a huge discount, because Guillermo from Staff Traveler was trying to help me book it, this last one I did, and he couldn't match the loyalty program. So, but we tried. But and Guillermo's has really good rates. So if I wasn't part of that program, I would have bought it through Staff Traveler. But yeah, so I don't understand why people don't do the loyalty program, because it's free.
But that's what your orange wristband meant.
Yeah, but the best thing is when everybody sees the white wristbands, they know that means your first time there.
Oh.
And they play pranks on them, and they do, they do funny things. One man came in, and he had just gotten there, and Dave and I were talking to him, and he goes, "Well, why are yours orange?" And he goes, "And mine's white." And I go, "Well, white means it's your first time there." He goes, "Damn it, I am not doing that." And he walked straight to the lobby and got a different color. Went in there and said, "I am not wearing white," and looked like a newbie. So it was
Hey,
fun.
So you were gone for a week. It felt like longer for us because
Yeah.
we missed you.
Thank you.
Were you ready to come home?
I was.
Or-
Once I was ready.
Did something happen?
No, it was just long. A week is a long time.
Yeah. Was it because Dave ran out of hymns? Okay.
He ran out of what?
No.
What did you say he ran out of?
Hymns?
Hymns.
Sing? Like singing?
No? It's a medication for men.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
I was like, I'm thinking because he's a priest, so he was going around like singing like church songs, and I was like, I don't get it.
I think I'm at the age where I get a lot of those ads on my algorithm.
Oh, do you really?
Well, and the problem is those algorithms, you sit just 2 seconds too long on any ad, and the next thing you know, that's all you get.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Oh, so
So,
when we
oh,
came home, when we got home and we got back to Phoenix and we were waiting for our bags at the international, Dave got a cart, a smart cart. And so he started loading up, our bags were coming down and off the carousel. And I was standing there talking to Jennifer, and I was talking to Jennifer, and Dave's loading on luggage. And Jennifer's like, that is a lot of luggage. How long were you guys gone for? And I go, 1 week. And then this lady and her husband were over on the side, and they had a ton of luggage. And I go, 1 week for clothing optional resort. And this lady with all this, and her husband with all this luggage around, they go, we did the same thing. Were you at where we? And then they said the name of their resort. They go, were you there? And I said, no, I didn't know. We were at a different one. So I'm like, that's interesting. I think there's 3 of them down there.
And they
But
must be
anyway, so
hopping.
Jennifer, I know. And so then Jennifer said, we were talking about non-revving, and she goes, well, did you non-rev? And I'm like, no, we use points. And so then she said, well, I really wanted to take my kids there, and they're teenagers, and I really wanted to take them to Europe. But I was trying to come back, and I could see how we were going to come back. And she goes, and everything was full. There was like no way. And I said, well, I heard the bubble is Raleigh, because Raleigh always has openings out of London to the States. I go, so you get to Raleigh, and then you go Raleigh, Charlotte, Phoenix. I said something like that. And I said, that's called a bubble city. And I said, if you listen to the Non-Rev Lounge podcast, I said, you would learn stuff like that. And she said to me, oh, I know the girl who does that. I know her. I'm friends with her.
That's funny.
That was so fun.
We're like, oh, really?
You got a fan.
You listen?
Momo has a fan.
I do. I have a lot of fans. Did I actually
It's
tell you
always
about?
whenever we work those flights, and it's crazy because you would think people are going to the beach. Like, how much do they need? But those flights, those bags are the heaviest. Whole Mexico, Miami, because our Miami's all connect down to beach cities for the most part. I mean, they're going Hawaii. Like, you think, how much stuff do you need to Hawaii? Those Hawaii bags are always 49.5 pounds. Like,
Wow.
every single one is maxed out. And it's like, you're going to the beach for a week. What much crap do you take? Like, how much do you need? So, yeah, we see it. I hate working that Cancun flight because those bags are just heavy, every single one.
Well, why does it take so long for the bags to come down?
Because you packed 4 per person,
Oh, there's that.
and they're heavy.
That's
So
why my
it's-
husband is, because you guys scan each one of them.
Yeah, nowadays we scan it constantly. Like when you look up and you track your baggage, it'll show a few. Now, those bags get scanned over and over in the system. By each time it comes off the plane, the bottom when they put it back on, every time it touches a new belt, it's supposed to get scanned.
Oh, that's pretty cool, actually.
I'm a professional scanner.
Not scammer.
So I have a handful of small stuff I wanted to talk about that we've kind of seen the last few weeks.
I'm sorry. Am I the only person that sees the humor in that comment?
What's that?
What
I have a
things you-
handful of I'm sorry, it was my last week.
I didn't even think of that. So gross.
So Lara's backup airline, Global Airlines, is selling their first tickets. Are you excited?
They are.
Did you get to get on the inaugural?
No.
Oh, really?
Are you still friends with James?
There's no way you're going to talk to James now. Before, you could have talked to him, but now they have, I think, when I DM Global, they don't even answer. I'm like, I'm going to Dorkfest. Did you guys want me this year to bring stuff? And they didn't even answer. I'm like, okay.
You still think it's going to do well? It's going to be
I do.
successful?
I do think so.
I was looking the other day, and I know the first one, they're not going from JFK. Or from Heathrow. They're going, I think eventually they're going to be going out of Gatwick. But do you know how many flights a day fly between JFK and Heathrow? Just guess. Do you know?
I would say
Scheduled
7.
flights.
7.
Total with all the airlines?
Uh-huh. Because, well,
Because
we
American
run...
has 4. JetBlue has
4?
2. Yeah.
American has 4.
Virgin has a couple. British Airways has like 7. There's 21 flights a day.
Wow. You don't believe there's room for one more with
And that's
premium
just
economy?
JFK. if you look at, they also fly to, British Airways flies to Gatwick. The Delta was flying to Gatwick. They pulled out. And then if you look at United across the water over in Newark, do you know how many they fly a day?
How many?
United flies from Newark to London.
I'd say 4.
7. They have 7
No.
flights a day to London from Newark. So it's just crazy to think that they're going to all of a sudden bring in another big 380 and then expect to fill it on without having connections. So yeah, so that's starting. I was wondering if you had got your tickets on your first flight yet. So
No. No, and I don't think our friend Henry's doing it either.
oh really?
Yeah. We talked about it.
I mean, I could see them it being full on the first one, but just after that,
Do you think it would taper down? I would like to non-rev on them.
yeah, good luck. If you can't non-rev on Breeze,
I know. I was telling the Frontier flight attendants, I said, do you guys ever non-rev on JSX? And they, no. I'm like, oh my gosh. You should.
Yeah, if they've got
it's-
Z privileges, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
They'd be the first one I would look at if we had options and they were going somewhere I was going.
I know.
So the next thing, there's a new deal that American Airlines and is doing with the government. They're doing a few trials. Did you hear about this? So flights coming from Sydney to, I think American flies it to LA. That flight, and then also the American flights from Heathrow to Dallas. When you fly, say, American Airlines the other way to London and you're going to connect, you don't go claim your bag. They just connect your bag, right?
Yes.
Where if someone flies to Dallas and they're going to fly on to Salt Lake, you go claim it in customs and say, this is my bag. And then you recheck it.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not going to do that anymore. They're just connecting them all the way to their final destination.
Wow.
So they made some agreement with Customs and Border Patrol on that one?
They're saying that the screening is good enough in those countries that they can forward all the pictures of all the screening of the bags, so they can like almost re-screen them again. And if there's another one they need to say, no, go grab that one. We saw a bag. We saw something weird. We want to go grab it. They can, but they're going to do just like that. So it's just if you're on American from Sydney and you land in LA, you don't have to claim your bag again, and you're going to connect on.
So then
I
you're
think
going
that'll-
to somebody say, so then you go on to Salt Lake and you land, it's already cleared customs by that point.
Yeah.
I think that's interesting. The food aspect is the one that I think more than like, you know what I mean, them smuggling something in and like wanting to screen it. I'm surprised on any kind of food.
Yeah, so apparently they say they can see enough in there, and I wouldn't be surprised if they still have dogs, like the little beagles that can smell food, that as the bags are coming off the belts somewhere, they can just sit and smell and be like, no, pull this one over because there's something in there.
So I wonder if there'll be some kind of process where you just can't leave that customs area, or if it's already pre-smelt screened before, so if they need to ask you about it, you're there. Because I can't. Also, the thing is, they can find people for bringing stuff in, and I don't see them giving up that opportunity.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, so
That's
that's what we're trying. And then also talking about getting to where it's kind of like they do in Dublin, where it's the pre-screening. So
Oh,
okay.
So when you land, you don't have to go through customs at all. They can land at a normal gate and just go without having to go through all the international at all.
But if I remember right, in Dublin, it's actually U.S. Border Patrol there, isn't it?
It is. It is
yeah,
US
they're
border.
there. And so that's not
Okay.
part of it yet, but that's what they're hoping to get to.
Okay.
So you'll still be clear to come in the country. But right now, it's just the bags aspect. The bags just continue on. They don't, because they say they can see them. So
Well, I
and
guess
that's
that's
one of the, go ahead.
I say in Ireland, if I remember it too, yeah, when you go through customs, your bags have already been checked underneath. Like they're not with you
Yeah.
at that point either. So I guess, yeah, they've already kind of screened them before. So that makes kind of sense. And okay.
And I guess they say that the screening in at least Sydney and Heathrow is good enough that they can send that data back. And so they can still look at the bags through theirs. And so they can say they feel confident that they don't need to rescreen it through TSA here.
Well, I think that'll relieve a lot of connecting passengers' anxiety because they don't have to wait for their bags. They should do global entry and then not wait for the bags. We use the global entry app coming in from Cancun, and we just walked past everybody right up to the officer, showed them our screen, and just kept walking.
Very good.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, they don't have to pick up their
So that
bags;
was-
they can just keep going.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting. That'll be interesting to see. Hopefully that works out because I think that'll make it easier just having to cut out some of those lines. And even the more so if you can get your clearance in London for your eventually, like it is in Dublin, where you can eventually just do that.
Awesome.
I thought it was kind of cool though. No, I'm just
No, I
looking to
think
see which one next. Did you see that one, the article that Dane sent us about the Delta One passenger that stripped down?
I saw that, but I was in Cancun, so I couldn't really read it. I just saw it. I was like, wow.
So some guy in the Delta One had like taken his clothes off completely so he can be in his pod, in his Delta One pod. And then the person next to him had a child in their lap, a lap child or a kid up there. So they're like, my kid could see that guy naked. And so that was kind of, I think Dane sent it because he thought that was me. And I was like,
I think he did
no,
too.
I don't get a flight Delta. But you kind of had a guy like that, didn't you? He didn't show it. Like this guy apparently you could see his everything, but you had a guy that was almost naked, right? Just covered with a blanket.
I did. He with just a little blanket over his like underwear. He was completely. He only left his underwear on, and they were boxers. And so, some of the guys said that one time's like in the middle of the night when he was sleeping, they thought they could see something hanging out. And I'm like, oh, I wasn't working up there. I would say something. And some put.
What would you say?
Tell him puss pants on.
Oh.
Well, I think you could almost say for safety reasons, we do need people to be completely dressed in case we have to do some kind of emergency evacuation.
Yeah, something happens fast. If we
I mean,
lose
technically-
pressurization, we're,
Well, and aren't to board, doesn't everyone supposed to have shoes on?
yep.
So I would kind of just follow along. I mean, it's a little more extreme, but that's how I would probably play it off.
And going off that a little bit, why are people walking into the lavatories in socks or bare feet? Why
Gross.
is that happening? That's not water on the ground.
Well, and it's not your bathroom. So yeah, think of it as a McDonald's bathroom, and then maybe people will stop doing it.
It's no better than a McDonald's bathroom.
Yeah.
Last weekend, I found myself in the lab with this cute young girl that was screaming at me. Did I tell you about that?
No, but I know who she is.
Was it in Phoenix?
It was on the way to Phoenix.
Oh,
From Tampa?
So the week before that, I had my 4-year-old, and somehow she has got terrified of loud sounding bathrooms with toilets that flush.
Oh.
whoosh.
And we're landing in Phoenix, and she goes, I have to go potty. And I said, okay, well, the wheels are up. Like, we can't get up now. We're going to be on the ground in 2 minutes. And then we landed. We were there early, which means we had to wait for our gate. So she still can't get up because she's like, we're just sitting here. I'm like, you can't get up. So eventually we get to the gate, and she had told me, I think, 30 plus times that she has to go potty in like 10 minutes. And so we get off and we go running, and she's that age where she doesn't want to go by herself, and I can't go in the girls. So I had to take her in the men's restroom, which has got to be traumatizing to the little girl.
Oh.
But we go in there, and all the men's stalls are gone. And so she wants to go to the club. We go to the club. And I think I text Monique and I said, my daughter needs a penis. She needs to be able to stand up and pee. This is too much. Anyways, so the next weekend we're flying again. I got all the 3 kids again, flying back from Dallas. And so my boys are good. I've tried that before. They can sit anywhere. This is the first time there was 40 open seats, and they put us all in middles, and they couldn't do anything to move us to get. And I've always sat by her just because as a 4-year-old, she's just still a little bit of a spaz. The boys, they're good, whatever. But they put her right in front of me so I could still like hand her stuff to entertain her. Halfway through the flight, she goes, I have to go potty. So I was like, okay. So I wake the people up in the aisles because we're both middles, and go to the lav, and then she goes, I can't go. I won't go. Like, it's just, she's too scared. So I said, let's go back to the back because we're kind of in the middle of everyone. I said, let's go back to the back. We go back there, and she's still like terrified of these bathrooms for some reason. And she goes, I can hold it. And I said, are you sure? She goes, I can hold it. So we go back up to sit in our seats. I know she couldn't hold it. She said she couldn't hold it last time.
Well,
But she
poor
said
girl's
over and
going to get
over.
a little like UTI.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said, come on, we just got, and she eventually, I said, okay, so we go back, we sit down. We're in our seats. People got up, sat down. A minute and a half later, she goes, I have to go now. And I was like, we just got these people up. Like, these people, they'll do it because they have to let you in and
It's
out.
a
But
4-year-old.
it's annoying. I know, but it's still like, I'm not a 4-year-old. I have to look because I have to go with her. And
Well, I mean,
said,
at
"Are
the
you
same
sure?"
time,
'Cause
though, these people knew what they were getting into when they did not move to let you sit by a 4-year-old. So
That's true.
I would not feel bad about it. I'd be like, you chose that it was more important for you to sit next to a 4-year-old than let me sit by her. So you get to deal with it all. I ain't saying sorry.
Yeah, so we got out again. We went to the back, and she was like, I'm not going. I said, you said you would go. She's still like, nope, I'm not going. I was like, oh, I'm going to pull my hair out. I don't have any hair. But
Just say, what?
so I pulled her into the laugh, and I closed the door. And I was like, what is scaring you? And she's just screaming. And she didn't get good sleep. We went to bed late. We had to get up super early, like 2 o'clock our time, a.m., to get to the airport with the time change. And so we're sitting in there, and she's still just like crying, and we were in there for like 20 minutes, and I'm actually sitting on the toilet seat down, just trying to talk to her and find out what is happening. And you could tell people were waiting outside. There's the 2 in the back, but still, like, it's like, oh my gosh. And so eventually she almost starts peeing her pants.
Oh, I'm sure.
So I ripped her pants down and set her on. She went. And then when she was done, she was like, flush it, Dad. Like, she had all this confidence in the world. And I was like, oh my gosh, where was that at? But
Yeah.
I don't
I
think
wonder
she
if-
thought there was going to be sharks in there, like in a biter or what. But
Well, I wonder if it's a noise, though, if she needs just like little
Oh,
headphones
yeah,
or something.
I grabbed my headphones after we went up the last time because I didn't have the first time. So I put them on her ears. I was like, it's not loud. You can't, it's the noise canceling, the over ear ones. So she didn't have that. I explained to her that the toilets in there don't flush because sometimes you move and the automatic ones will just go.
Yeah.
I said, no, the ones on the airplanes, you have to push. So don't worry, it's not going to go off. She wanted me to guard the door. And I'm like, who do you think is coming in here? Like, it's locked. No one's coming in here. But it's like,
Poor
you need a
thing.
mom. Where's your mom at?
Or Lola.
So yeah, that was kind of like my World War III in a lab.
Her mom was lounging by the pool in Phoenix with a mocktail in her hand.
Yeah. So Monique and I just bid. Last 2 days we both bid for summer. And you bid every month, right, Lara? That's
bid every month,
standard for flight attendants.
Yeah.
And did you see the reel I sent you guys on Instagram? I think it's separately, but there was a lady that was talking about kind of crazy trades that people offer.
Yeah. I did send it to someone. I don't know, because I'd already seen it before. I thought it was pretty funny. Yeah.
But she's talking and she's offering or seeing someone's offering like, hey, will you trade one of these perfect days in Tokyo for my like 4-day shift or 4-day trip? And even though I'm not a flight attendant, I feel like I know that people, like I know that person on the ramp. Whenever we have the new bid, there's always people asking for stuff, and it's just like it's very similar. It's like, will you give up your bag room to work my ramp? And you have to understand, like, once people get off the ramp, like actual in the throwing mail or bags on your knees, like they don't go back to that. They stay in the bag room. And I'm kind of a hybrid. I will do it. I very rarely, but there's most people are like, they wouldn't do it for anything. So, and I know the both of us, Monique has ticket counter, right? It's kind of like
Yeah. We don't like ticket counter. Once you've gone up to gates, you usually don't ever go back down.
yeah. So it was just kind of funny watching hers and all the different scenarios that she was reading off that people had offered. And they were all just you could tell, even not being a flight attendant, like, these are pretty terrible things to, like.
Like an overnight in St. Louis for a 2-day in Rome. Yeah, next to.
Or
Yeah.
I get notifications all the time. There's a way that in our crew portal that you can put a little tag on each trip that says not available for trade. So when they try to send you a message about that trip, it goes back to them and says, I'm not available for trade. So I don't even have to get a message. But a lot of times, if you forget to do that, you'll get all these messages like, will you trade me for my one leg Des Moines and I'm number 1? And I'm like, yeah, no. But I'm a
For
little
your
hybrid
greeter
too,
position.
I got greeter all month this month. I'm so excited for this next
Woohoo.
month. But a lot of times too, they want to get rid of their number 1 shift. So they'll say, hey, will you trade my Kona for your Honolulu? And if you're not looking, you'll see that it's position 1. They're just trying to get rid of their position 1. But
Is your position 1 is like the
First
first class, right?
yeah.
and doing all the meals with that rather than just throwing pretzels.
20 people for one person, and the same service that you get when on a 777 when there's 36 passengers and is it 36? Momo? 36 passengers,
Yeah.
12 on each side. No, it's 12 on each side.
Well, on the I believe it has 10 rows on the outside. So there's 10 rows, singles, and then 2 in the middle. So whatever that is.
Yeah. But yet you have 4 flight attendants. It's the same service for 36 passengers, but you have 4 flight attendants, same service for 20 with 1 flight attendant. So that's why they're always trying to get rid of them.
And that's what usually get out when you're on reserve, don't you? Because those are the people that call in sick.
Yeah. And I always, Phoenix hasn't had any new flight attendants in years, but we're getting some this next month. And I'm always,
Like
whenever I
brand
see a
new?
new, yeah, we're getting brand new ones.
So there's no one that wants to transfer? Because I remember during COVID, you were like, how old
Everyone
was the youngest low seniority was all the way to what?
20-something years.
That's
They were
crazy. So now they're-
not furloughing, displacing people that had been there for 20 years.
Over to LA, right?
Uh-huh. Or I think they got a choice of LA or Dallas.
Oh, they got a choice.
So if I was to go get a flight attendant position, I go get hired, then I could possibly hold Phoenix?
You could possibly hold Phoenix.
And you
But I
walk me
always-
through how to interview?
I would walk you through the interview. But I would also, I like to go up there and help them with service so that they can, because once you're organized up there, it's piece of cake. Well, it's not a piece of cake. Nobody wants to do it. But once you're organized, it's helpful.
You just want to go up and say, warm nuts? Warm nuts?
I've got these nuts.
It said the other day, I don't know if this number one was new or not, but they kept writing in about different meals that they needed, but they would almost wait until catering had come and cater them with the meals. And then they'd write back in our teams, oh, need 3 more of this kind. And then they'd get catered with the other one. Catering would come back and then they'd write again like, oh, missing this. So finally, like our operations tower was like, it's helpful if you give them everything you're missing at one time. You could tell they were just tired because I think catering had to come back 3 or 4 times.
Oh, that's terrible. That's funny. That's a newbie.
When I could see in there and they're like, well, catering should have just done it right the first time. But it's like, but you could also be helpful and look at everything first.
And that's true. Catering could have gone. But, they have a high turnover over there. So,
yeah, their job doesn't look easy. How fast they got to go and working in the heat.
And having flight attendants yell at them.
And gate agents also looking at them because they're going too slow.
Oh, yeah.
So this is coming out in May. Monique, do you have a real ID?
I do not know.
Oh, Momo!
Like a real state ID? Is that what you mean?
The
Like one with the
star.
star? I do
The
not have a
star.
driver's license with a star. I don't plan
Do
on
you
getting
usually
one.
travel with your passport?
I don't, but I'm going to start. But I think someone said, was it Matt said you
global
could
entry.
global entry? Yeah. So I figured I'll just
Yeah,
use
that card works too. Yeah. So you've got something that you can do.
Well, that's it. We're going to Chicago. I think we leave the 8th that night or the 9th to go to Zachary's graduation, right? And I already warned my girls. I was like, Hayden, bring your make sure your passport's with you because she doesn't have one either. I was like, you're going to need that to travel with. And she was like, okay. So we're gearing up for it.
I thought I saw like in New Jersey, the lines to get them were crazy long. I did mine, a few months ago. I got an appointment. I made an appointment with the DMV here in Arizona. And so I was able to walk in, get it. And I was out in like 20 minutes. Basically just take a new picture and then pay your $25. So it really wasn't too bad if you're interested in doing it. I figured I'd just do it to get it done with. I think I mentioned before that in Arizona, the driver's license were good for till you're 55?
Something like that. They're crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. And so,
Many
but
years.
with this one, you have to get it done every 8 years. So it doesn't last as long, but I know people say travel with your passport, but if I'm flying to Salt Lake, I don't need my passport. Or, if I'm going to San Diego, I don't need my passport. If it gets that bad, I'm just going to drive home. I'm not going to fly from Salt Lake to Cabo on Delta and then back on us. I understand there's some places you're going that may be a better option, but for the most part, I guess it just depends on where you're at, if that other one is better. So, yeah, and so we don't always take the passports. Some people will take them all the time, no matter what. That's fine. But what else do we have? A lady at Southwest takes her clothes off and poops on the seat.
What? Like, seriously, I feel like
I think
our country
bunch
needs
of
better
people said
mental health because it's like
I think you're right.
our mental health issues here are out of control.
so. The last one will end this. Did I send you the lady that had her boobs, or like each boob was like the size 2 of my head? They were so big that she couldn't even get in the lab. Did you not see that one?
No, I'm so sorry. I left my phone in my room.
She could barely even get into the lab, and I was like, that's got to be a safety issue. So
She
I thought that
couldn't
was pretty
barely get in the
crazy.
lab because of her breasts were
'Cause
too large.
each one
Yeah,
was
like
this
honestly,
big.
they were like bigger than basketballs, each of them. And then she looked so uncomfortable, like walking. It was hard, and so she tried to go sideways into it, but there's already narrow that it was like a struggle to even get into the lab. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Monique, do you want to ask Lara your question?
Oh yeah. So this kind of goes back to your recurrent training, and then kind of what we were talking about earlier about in an evacuation, you're not supposed to take anything with you.
Correct.
What would you have done if someone came up and they were carrying like an urn of a loved one, though? Would you still yell at them to drop it?
Wow. I would have to look at it and know immediately it was an urn. I mean, I don't think I would know. I would not know that in an emergency. I'm not sure I would take that much time.
I hear that because there's times when I've had, not very often, but I've had a few people traveling and they'll have their loved one in something they're traveling with. And I'll be like, you have 3
warmer bag.
items. Warmer bag. But you're kind of like, oh, like immediately your mind just goes to like, you'd be like, just drop it. There's something in your hands. Me, I'm like, that's an extra item. And once they explain the situation, then I'm like, okay, yeah, like, of course,
Yeah, then
take
you're
your
not
wife
gonna-
with you, do whatever. But I just wanted an emergency because I was telling Tyler, I was like, I think I would take my person with me. I would not be leaving them on the aircraft.
No, I think I would say drop it. You'll see, this is the whole thing. I'm going to say drop it, but I'm not going to stop flow.
Gotcha. It's
Just
more
to
important
do
still
it.
to get them out. Okay.
It's more important. The flow is more important than that compliance. So if you
Gotcha.
want to hold on to your bag, your urn as you jump down, that's on you. But I'm not stopping the flow. I'm not letting the guy 5 people behind you not make it because I'm just
We're going to argue
pushing.
about, yeah, and you're not going to, okay, what are you carrying? Is it worth it or not? Yeah, you're not going to have that
Yeah.
conversation.
Yeah. And we're supposed to be
what-
continually yelling, leave everything.
Gotcha. Okay, I was just
So
kind of
in
curious.
reality, you shouldn't bring it anyways. You should leave it at your seat, the urn.
Yeah.
I know it's not an easy decision, but you need to save the people's lives that are still alive rather than just
Or more
ashes.
important.
Of,
So maybe what you should do then is if you're going to travel with a loved one, put them in a bunch of little baggies and have them in your pockets.
3 ounces or less, yes.
So if you need to evacuate, they're already on your person. You're not grabbing anything. You've got grandma here and here and here and here. Right?
That's why I think cargo pants are so great to travel with. Because you have
You
these
can-
extra pockets.
Grandma and grandpa.
Oh, that's so funny.
Or just
Well,
don't
I know-
travel with ashes.
Well, my mom's ashes came in a gray plastic box. We didn't do the urn thing because we did a memorial at sea for her.
No.
And yeah, so it was just a gray plastic box. So you wouldn't really know that.
So the other day I'm working JFK and the crew chief had came up and talked with us and he was like, just giving you a heads up. Oh, also we were delayed like 4 hours. So, but he's telling us like, we are transporting a body on this one below. He's like, so
HR.
he's
Human
like, yeah,
remains.
you may run into something up top. Just be a little extra sensitive about that. So we were like, okay. Anyway, so a few minutes later, this gentleman comes up. He's pretty young too. And he's starting to tell me that his wife had passed and he wanted to make sure that she was going on this flight, even though it was delayed and all that. But he was smiling a lot. Like he seemed very happy. And so I was really thrown off. I was like, wait, is this the guy with the woman underneath? I'm assuming because she's the only one underneath. But the way he was like, is she here? Is she with us? And I was like, either this gentleman has a lot of good drugs that he's on or he murdered her. Those are the only 2 options of why he's so happy right now.
Did you get a good look at his face? Do you remember it when it's on Dateline?
It's a good. Well, it was funny because as I walked down, I was like, "Hey, just a heads up! Like 19 Alpha is traveling with his wife. She's underneath," and you could tell the crew was like, "What?" And anyway, then I told him to. I was like, "Don't worry." The flight attendant goes, "Is he kind of a mess?" And I said, "No, he's so happy." I was like, "I don't think you have to worry about anything." And he was
He's
like,
got to be
"Okay."
on Xanax or something. Yeah. Oh, and when you're a young flight attendant, you don't really know what's happening. And I remember once I was working a flight and I got to this, and I knew there were HR on board, and I knew it was military because of the way they
Oh.
brought it. You know, you could
Mhm.
tell the way they bring it with the saluting and the uniforms. And
Yeah.
I got to the back of this lady. This young lady has her tray table down, and she's got a framed photo, a wedding photo of her with her husband. I'm giving her a drink. I said, "Oh, your husband's cute," and all this stuff. And she goes, "He's down below." And I'm like,
Oh.
"Oh, I'm so sorry." You know, that doesn't even help. But I I will never do that again. If they've got a
Never.
framed photo on it, you know, where they're looking at, nope, I'll keep my mouth shut.
It was like when we came back from Grandma's funeral. Tyler, do you remember I had those flowers?
Oh, that's right. I remember that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and the flight attendant said something about, "Oh, your flowers are so pretty," something like that. And I was like, "They're from my grandma's funeral." And they were like, "Oh, sorry."
Sorry.
But I didn't mean it to come off like that, but it caught them off guard. They were not quite ready for that response.
It's kind of like I don't know if it's a joke, but a mom or an aunt would always put. She thought LOL meant lots of love, so she'd be like, "Aunt Debbie died, LOL."
That's funny.
It is funny.
So, but yeah, if you need to, just ship the urn on FedEx, then you don't have to worry about, do I take it, do I don't take it? That's the better way.
Or little baggies.
Little
Options.
baggies, yeah.
Well, with my mom's, we rented a boat and we were going to take the boat out. And my brother-in-law had his captain's license, so we rented a boat. And he was as we were walking all down onto the boat, the guy who did the boat in LA, he comes over and goes, "You're not like going to throw remains over, cremated remains over." And we're all looking at him, we go, "What?" And he goes, "It's against the law. You're not allowed to throw human remains over the cremains." And I go, "Oh, no, we're not doing that." And we had these big platters of sandwiches and stuff. I'm like, "No, we're not doing that. No." And he just around, walks away, and we're like, "So
Hurry, do it.
we'd
Go, go,
out
go.
there. Yeah, and we'd scoop a little bit here, and then other boats would come, so we'd get out of there and then scoop a little bit more here in the ocean. And we tried to go by her condo, had a view of the ocean, so we were trying to do it by her condo. We did a little bit here, so we were just, the whole day was like that. Like, "Oh, here comes somebody." You know, it was just, we did that. It made it kind of fun. And then when we got back, we just threw the plastic box in the trash, and Dave walked over and he pulled out the paperwork on it it was stuck in the plastic on it. And he goes, "That's got your mom's name on it. I don't want to leave that on there." And I said, "Oh, that's so nice." And so he goes, when he came home, he threw it on his desk. A whole year later, he's cleaning off his desk and he sees that and he opens it up. It was a permit that we could throw her cremains in the ocean.
Oh, really?
So the mortuary had gotten the permit for us, but it made it more fun that we were like sneaking it. And my mom was not a rule follower, so she would have loved that.
I was just going to ask, if that's something that
She
your
was
mom
not a
would have
rule
loved.
follower, no. She would love that.
It's weird you had to get a permit for that. I mean, it doesn't make sense, but I can see just like a normal body, just like they don't want normal bodies floating up on.
No, there's all
in
that stuff that
California.
goes with it. You know, we got to figure out who they are and how they died.
But if it's cremated, it's just ashes. So it seems like that's funny. All right. Good to see you guys again.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Oh, we had someone ask a
question.
question. Oh, let me answer this one. So, because I never did, I've been behind. Someone asked a question. We had a couple questions, and I appreciate it. And I was going to write it back, and I never did. So it's been like a month ago. I know I'm bad, but I wasn't even sure how to respond. And then when he did answer, but then we had a couple guests, so we didn't get to it. But they asked, so they were going to fly a connection, like 2 Z fares on Delta, and they said so it was going to be like 2 in a row, not like there and back. Like they're going to make a connection. So this, with the Delta, the person was going to, or the listener was going to fly somewhere, probably to Atlanta, and then say Atlanta on to South America. So it's going to be 2 separate flights. They asked, so is it better to do 2 Zs or just one? And honestly, I didn't know myself. And so I asked you, Monique, and your opinion was you want them to be together because then Delta or whatever airline, they can see that you are connecting. And so maybe they're not probably going to hold the flight, but they know what they're to expect. And I was just thinking, like, if you checked a bag, then you're gonna have to go claim it. But more than that is just the being able to know that you're coming and to expect you because you're connecting in. So that was the thing so I'm sorry that it's so late. I hope you were able to get that. And actually that worked out for me. I learned that because this fall, there's a chance that we'll be flying, I think it was Qatar as one of the options, or Turkish, and it'll be 2 flights on the same airline, in which case would it be better to do 2 Zeds or just 1? So thank you for listening. It's been so long, I don't remember the name, but for sending us that and help me learn that too. So just to do one. Because I think even if you don't make one of the second leg and you get stuck, they'll still refund. You're not paying for the whole thing.
That's right.
You put them together on one PNR, but it is 2 separate tickets. Does that make sense? Is that right, Monique?
Yeah.
Or as you know?
Say that again.
So for the two flights, it's like almost like it's 1 ticket, but if you only fly 1 leg because you're not getting on the second one, you'll still get refunded for that one. It's like almost like another ticket. So that's another right word though, because it's 1 PNR. It's 1 together, but you'll get refunded for the second one.
I don't know. Because I would think they probably, price it out as almost two separate tickets.
Yeah. So you should get, if you don't do the second flight, then you'll get the money back for that second one. All right, that's just what I learned. I wanted to get that because it's been too long since I've been able to do that. So, Staff Traveler, the update took an extra day, but it is, I believe, up as of now.
It is. I've already seen it. And everyone gets 5 credits when you update your Staff Traveler app to the new one.
Oh, okay.
You get 5 credits. That's nice.
Yeah, that's cool.
So go ahead and update on your phones. We had 2 guys on the plane. They put out their podcast about a week ago now. So go listen to their podcasts. They're fun to have with us. It was about 2 months ago.
Oh, that was fun. And look at my CRJ Slayer.
That was funny.
I had to get that because someday my son's going to be flying a CRJ. And you can get it at Jet Set Shirts on Instagram. Jet Set Shirts.
Well, thanks to everyone that's listens and reached out to us. We really do appreciate it. It's fun to be able to tell stories and talk about stuff going on. So thanks for everyone's support.
Thank you. If you want to get a hold of us, you can find us at the Non-Rev Lounge Podcast at gmail.com. Stay safe.
This has been Non-Rev Lounge. This episode was sponsored by Staff Traveler, which is the #1 app to get your non-rev loads. It is used by over 800,000 people from all airlines the world over and built to make your non-rev trips easy and stress-free. Sign up now for free at stafftraveler.com/non-rev lounge.